doesn't mean that we can continue to live our lives this way.
That's what he said.
Ye are children tossed to and fro by winds of false doctrine. That's where you go. 5%ers, Islam, Kemet, Christianity, or Christian insanity. Come back to your God, Israel, for it has been made manifest to us what is pleasing to our Elohim. I love y'all, Israel.
Exodus chapter 20 and verse 8. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy.
So the first thing we're supposed to do is remember it. You got to observe it. Go ahead.
6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work.
Right. It's a rest day, like you said. Go ahead.
Thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy maidservant, nor thy manservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates.
Right. So even your crop, your animals, your servants, everybody doesn't have a day off. You know, it's for everybody. Go ahead.
For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day.
Right. So the same way he showed us at the very beginning in Genesis and how he created everything and rested, it's the same thing we're supposed to do now with our work. Go to, is that it on that? Go to Exodus 31. All right.
The book of Exodus, chapter 31 and verse 16.
Start up about 14.
Okay, verse 14. Ye shall keep the Sabbath day, therefore, for it is holy unto you. Everyone that defileth it shall surely be put to death.
Right. So this is and during these times, if you broke certain laws that the Lord gave us, it was punishable by death. Right. And now we have Christ because we have this grace period to relearn what we're supposed to be taught. We're supposed to be taught certain things now. Okay, so that way we don't have the death penalty at the end of our lives. We're supposed to observe these things now. So he's just telling us what the penalty is and how important it is to keep it. It's like something holy is separate. A holy day, a holy people, they're separate from everything else around them. But
for whosoever doeth any work therein, that soul shall be cut off from among his people.
And when it's talking about work, it's like going to get paid for work, doing servile work. You know what I'm saying? So if you're going to get paid for a job or you're paying somebody to do a job, that's the work they're talking about, right?
6 days may work be done, but in the seventh day is the Sabbath of rest, holy to the Lord.
Right.
Whosoever doeth any work in the Sabbath day, he shall surely be put to death. Wherefore, the children of Israel.
Right, now it's declaring, it's showing you what nation this was for. So if I ask you your nationality, you know what your nationality is?
For the most part.
According to the scriptures, according to God, what he called you.
Yeah, no.
Right, and that's part of the confusion of the world we live in today. But he's talking about Israel. Read that part again, go ahead.
Verse 16, wherefore the children of Israel.
So it's not for everybody. He said the children of Israel, go ahead.
Shall keep the Sabbath, to observe the Sabbath throughout their generations.
So every generation, it's not just for that time period. A lot of people say, well, that was back then. But it says throughout your generations. The Bible says the same people that were here back then, are the same people that's here today. So now there's going to be clues and different prophecies and things to show you the Israelites are still here and we're supposed to be observing the Sabbath day the way he ordained it. Go ahead.
For a perpetual covenant. It is a sign between me and the children of Israel forever.
Right. So just like I said earlier about if we conduct ourselves in a certain way, if we follow God, it's going to be a sign. It's going to be a sign to other people. Like a lot of people that's working today, they might not have this understanding. And that's why we are here on the streets and to teach our people what we're supposed to be doing. So in this, because we're not in rulership right now. So there might be times where, hey, you might work a job that requires you to work every other Saturday. And then now you read this. Now it's like, man, can I make some adjustments so I can show this sign that I'm going to keep what the Lord told me to do? And we're going to increase our faith because the Lord is going to bless us for keeping his commandments. You know what I mean? You got more on this?
For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, and on the seventh day he rested and was refreshed.
Right. So it's the same thing he showed us back in Exodus 20, same thing he showed us in Genesis. Saying we work 6, rest 7. It's a sign between Israel and God's people. Right? So now we got to ask, well, then, who are Israelites? It should make you want to know, well, who are the Israelites then? He told the Israelites to do that. If I don't know who I am, then this might not even apply to me.
That's true.
So, but now our spirit bearing witness saying, you know what, something different about this. So, can I get 4 minutes? You cold? I'm gonna make it fast.
No.
I'm gonna make it fast. So if I talk fast, tell me to slow down. But I want to get this in before you leave. Give me Deuteronomy 1. Okay, go ahead. Because now that's we're talking about the commandments, everything. Remember, Moses came out of Egypt. He walked the people through the Red Sea. Now they're out in the wilderness, and he was giving them the laws and commandments. But who was he talking to? Who was the audience? Go ahead.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 1 and verse 1. These be the words which Moses spake unto all Israel.
Unto all Israel. So that's the audience. So this is after the Exodus. He's still talking to all of Israel. That's the audience. Because we're in Deuteronomy now. Deuteronomy 1 and 1 says the audience is Israel.
Hey, so you had other nations that followed the Israelites.
And thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy
We're
God.
going to be overtaken with blessings if we would just listen to the Most High God. As a whole, right now in this world, do people really listen to God? As a whole, like with all, they're more evil or more good right now. When you turn the TV on, you turn these shows on. It's a lot of evil wickedness.
It is.
Right. And it's because everybody's out of order, right? Especially the Israelites. That's why this is so much chaos going on, because the Israelites are out of order.
Right.
Keep going.
Verse 2. And all these blessings shall come on thee and overtake thee, if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God. Blessed shall thou be in the city, right? Blessed shall thou be in the field.
So this is what's going to start narrowing it down, because these blessings and curses only apply to one nation of people. And as we go through, I'm only going to go through a couple of them and let you go, so you can determine who these blessings and curses reflect. Do they reflect the Chinese man? Do they reflect the white man? Do they reflect the so-called black people? You know what I mean? We're going to see who these reflect. Keep going.
Verse 4. Blessed shall be the fruit of thy body and the fruit of thy ground.
Right, so our children are going to be fruitful. They're going to be blessed. The work that we till in the ground, the farm that we crop that we do, it's going to multiply. It's going to be blessed. Right now, you see a lot of poverty, right? And you see it amongst, like, what nation here in America, or even in the city of Richmond? And I'm from the 757, Portsmouth, Newport News, that area, stuff like that. When you go around and you look at these different cities, what nation look like they the ones on the bottom?
Well, it's normally the one that has more, like, say, color.
There you go. Right. So that lets you know right there, that's a blessing. So does that mean those people are getting blessed right now? It's probably because of they say they're not listening to the Most High God. Now we're gonna fast forward. Go to 15 real quick. Now he said if you listen, there's gonna be blessings. All right, there's gonna be blessings. Now there's the opposite side of that. Go ahead.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 15. But it shall come to pass,
Another future prophecy. Go ahead.
if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, so turn to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
Now we just said we realize what the people in all these cities, man, who's in poverty the most, who's at the bottom of society. Now we're going to start seeing some of these things come to light now that are still relevant today. This is the book of Deuteronomy after they left out of Egypt, thousands of years ago. But these are future prophecies that are being fulfilled. Go ahead.
Verse 16. Cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field.
So just like we said, we're at the bottom of these cities, we're in poverty most of the time, or we're at the bottom of society, and then it says the work that we will do will be cursed in the field. When were our people cursed in the fields?
Well, 500 years ago,
Not that long ago. Slavery, though. Exactly.
Yeah.
Slavery, though. You're right.
Slavery ended 150 years ago.
okay.
Right, that's
But then after that, you had Jim Crow laws.
Black
you
laws,
still kind of
still,
bottom.
still redlining.
right. And
Even to this day.
even to this day. Because now you get into the financial institutions, you're trying to get loans, you're not getting the same benefits, you're not getting the same jobs, you're still fighting for equal pay. See, what they've done to us is made the battle between me and you. the women, the men ain't protecting the women ain't protecting the men, vice versa, and they got us at odds. But really, it's us against them. It's really against our people. And what they've done is to cause more division in our community, so we can't be unified. And that's what we have to realize and sit back and look like, man, they're causing division. That's the first rule of war: divide and conquer. Keep going.
Verse 17.
Now jump down to 32.
Okay, verse 32. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long.
And you just mentioned with slavery, this is one of the things that happened to our people. They took our sons and daughters and ripped them away from us. And it's a domino effect of things that happen with that. Because now I can't teach my children about the Lord. I can't teach my children about our heritage. I can't teach our children about our culture. Because it took the father away. And it took the mother away. And it took the kids away. And now who's raising them? Now look at today. With the cost of living is so high that we gotta both work. We both gotta work full time, right? And we gotta send our kids over here. So who's raising them? Now, hey, you know what? Now, if you don't do the correct paperwork and you don't want to send them to that school system, what's going to happen? Even deeper than that, though, because you can homeschool your kid, can't you? You can't educate them at home. That don't mean he's going to be uneducated.
That's true unless I try to home
Back in, we're going to be able to see those same signs. This is how we can apply the scriptures to modern day situations. Keep going.
Verse 47. Because thou servest not the Lord thy God with joyfulness and with gladness of heart for the abundance of all things.
Right. We didn't do what verse 1 said. We didn't diligently seek and listen and hearken to all his words. We got away from that. That's the same thing going on today. We're getting away from the Lord. We're our own God. We're following other religions, or we don't want to follow any commandments because it's, I don't know, whatever the doctrine is today. Keep going.
Verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies,
So the Lord said you got enemies. You're going to serve your enemies. And what?
which the Lord shall send against thee.
The Lord set these people against us to punish us. You read in the New Testament, it talks about he chastises his children. And if you don't go through any chastisement, that means you're not a child. That means you're a bastard. You don't have no
He don't
father.
love you, right?
You don't have no father.
No.
But he loves us, so he got to discipline. You're going to discipline your children when they're going off, right? Like as parents, that's what we're supposed to do. Well, our Heavenly Father said, you all haven't been listening to me. So I'm going to send these people against you so you can be punished. How, though?
In hunger.
So when you want food, you're going to have to go to them to get it. Walmart, Food Line, Kroger, whatever you want to go to, they own the food industry. Our people don't own that. We might own the grocery store, but we don't own where the manufacturers and where the food's coming from. Keep going.
And in thirst.
You got to pay for that water. Oh, you out. You want to get some water, you got to get a water bottle. Some states you can't collect rent. Like, that's how strict they get. We got to go to them for that. Oh, we want clean water? Well, we got to make sure their facilities is running well. Keep going.
And in nakedness.
And in your clothes. A black woman on your shirt, but I guarantee you, whoever made that shirt ain't our people.
Yeah.
And even out of all the cotton we picked to make that shirt, we don't have any stock in it. We didn't get no benefits from it. Now all these other people do, or you got to get the silks and the other fine linens from other countries that aren't our people. Keep going.
And in want of all things.
So then what they say is, if you don't like it, man, just leave. Go back to Africa. Well, I still got to go to DMV to get an ID. Then got to go to you to get a passport. Then I got to get on your airplane and drive over there. And guess what? If you say no, I'm stuck. Everything they want you to do and everything that you have, your Apple Watch, your phone, it's all, we got to go to them for everything. That's why we get so hype about black business and trying to support, but it's deeper than that. It still runs further than that. It's a start, but it's still deeper than that. All these things, cars, all this stuff, they own. Keep going.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee.
And when do we have the iron on us? When do we have those chains on our necks? Slavery. The Lord sent the people against us to do that. To show us them signs and them wonders and all those things. To show that we are his people. That I'm going to put you through this because you didn't listen to me. Right. And I'm going to show you to you from generation to generation, your seed line, all the way to today, so you know who you are. And what we're supposed to do with that. Go to, is that it on there? Oh yeah, until you destroy me, right? Alright, go to 60. Now that's my last one for you, then I'm going to ask you a question.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 48, and verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
Now, when we left out of Egypt, remember, we already left out of Egypt, and we walked out, right? We walked out of Egypt, they walked through the Red Sea, they kept walking in the wilderness. So it's a walking distance. You don't have to travel a different way to get to Egypt. So symbolic for bondage because we were slaves in Egypt.
Right.
So he said, I'm going to send you back into Egypt again. I'm going to send you back into bondage again. If you don't listen, keep going.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
With ships. So we walked out of Egypt. You don't need a boat to get back to Egypt. So when did we go into bondage on ships?
And slavery happened.
When the transatlantic slave trade happened. That wasn't our first slavery. But that was our last slavery that we came over here in. And we came by ship. That was a prophecy from thousands of years ago saying, if you don't listen, I'm going to send you back into Egypt. I'm going to send you back into bondage, just like slaves you were in Egypt, by ships. Keep going.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies.
So he not only did he send us on ships, but what happened when we got on in Virginia, 1619? What happened when we went to the Caribbeans in the 1500s? We got onto them auction blocks. Soon as we got off the boat. And we were sold. And sold to who?
Your enemies.
The Lord said we still have enemies. Go ahead.
For bondmen and bondwomen.
So slave man and slave woman, you're going to be sold to your enemies. Go ahead.
And no man shall buy you.
And no man shall buy you. So no man's going to redeem us out of this. No man's going to be able to pay for our freedom out of this. We're still here. We're still here in America. Even after slavery ended, or since we were here on cap slaves land, or serving everybody else for all the things that we need in life. Who is that? Who's going through that? We are. But who was the audience?
We were.
Exactly. So what is our nationality then?
I guess Israel.
There you go.
There you go.
That's our true nationality. Because no other nation can go through those curses. And there's plenty of more. You heard me just on verse 68. I only read you 4. So there's plenty more blessings and curses. There are more signs and more wonders and evidence of things that our people went through as a whole.
Right.
Now that doesn't mean nobody else went to slavery. But nobody else went to slavery by ships and then got sold.
Right. Right.
To their
Nobody else went through
enemies.
that. To their enemies.
Right. Ain't
Nobody else did that. So that also lets you know that the people that put us on them ships were working with the Europeans. Those other African nations, they're not all the same. You can Google it right now. What's it like 3,000 different dialects and languages? You got over about 60 different countries, thousands of different tribes. They're not all the same people over there just because they're brown skinned. Why they don't call the East Indian black? He's got brown skin. They don't call him black.
Hey,
They keep distorting ours.
real quick, 2 verses. Luke 21:24. So Christ came for his people. Now, one of the prophecies he left before he gave up the ghost is this right here. He's going to say the same thing that was said in Deuteronomy 28.
The book of St. Luke, chapter 21 and verse 24.
Go ahead.
And they shall fall by the edge of the sword,
Meaning his people, the Israelites. Go ahead.
and shall be led away captive into all nations.
That's us. Led away captive. I don't care where you go, we can find our people there in a rundown community being oppressed. Finish that out.
And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles.
So if the people that's in the land now talking about they're the Israelites, those are Gentiles.
And then,
We're in captivity.
Right.
Go ahead.
Until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled.
Until Christ returns. Now, Luke 1 and verse, it's a couple verses. We'll just read through them quick. Start at 68. So salvation is what? Us being saved from our enemies. The Bible is not written to everybody. It's written to us.
and that's what the confusion comes in. And just like this right here. They're all using the same book, but then all of a sudden they got all these different religions.
Right.
And look at the faces of the people that started them.
And look at the years. We were enslaved.
All of these times. Where did we learn this image? In slavery. This is not an Eastern Hemisphere image. This was given to us at the time of us going into captivity over here. And they westernized the world with that image. But that's not what the Bible says he looks like. The Bible doesn't say he look like that, man. That's a portrayal. This is a real person that they did those images based off of. That's how much confusion they did for our people.
Yeah,
But
that
you
description
still-
is
my
not in the
grandmother-
Bible.
A lot of our grandparents had that image up on the wall. Go to the church fan, go to the funeral home.
She got
All praises.
Oh, go ahead.
At least she understand.
Okay.
At least she understand that
Right.
that ain't real.
Wow.
But what does that do though? Subliminally, that puts something like, man, all the atrocities that nation and people did to our people. Oh, let's forgive them. They're higher than us. Let's look at them like that. And then that's the same thing they carried over into this mindset. I was watching the class yesterday. Black and white wasn't always a thing. They used that as superiority when we came over here to cause more division of our people. And to put them on a hierarchy above us.
Once God gave them the power. So when you read in Revelation 13, say he gave them power to rule over the earth. Power was given unto him. They're that beast that's talked about. Power was given him to overcome the saints, which is us, and every kindred and tongue on the earth. That's when they came into power, the Renaissance period. That's when they started changing the image.
Right. And
That's when racism became a thing. When they did it.
Before then, it was just about who you were, your nationality.
Right.
Oh, you what was your name again?
I didn't say.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I asked you earlier. Go ahead. Ariel?
Yeah, like the little boy.
Oh, okay. Ariel. Ariel. I'm sorry.
Anyway.
Ariel from the city of Richmond. That's how you'd be known. You would call it Ariel the Richmondite, or the Virginian, or the Virginian. You know, that's how they would name you back then. Then race, like you said, became a thing when they started changing during the Renaissance period, which was them revamping Europe after the Dark Ages when we moved. They make the Dark Ages sound like they come to understand or that things are going to happen. The Lord said He's going to prophesy to His people. He's going to have prophets like you read Jeremiah, Isaiah, all these. He was going to use them to show you what was going to come. Go ahead.
Which have been since the world began.
Right.
That we should be saved from our enemies.
That's salvation. That we were going to be. He's going to come back and return, bring His people together, and save us from our enemies. Keep going.
And from the hand of all that hate us.
Right.
No, you good.
Okay.
From our enemies. So it told you, you're going to be sold to your enemy.
Right.
You're gonna
And your
serve
salvation is the Lord sending His Son to save us from the very same people.
Right. Right. And in every nation on earth has had us in captivity at some time upon a land. And the Lord said, if you steal with the man, you found with these people in your possession, it's going to destroy them. And that's thus says the Lord. And we don't get taught that in church. We get taught about that soft looking, the Bible says He's come back with a sword.
God loves everyone. No, you don't. That's not what
I
it
know
says.
he's got a little bit of smiting.
No, not just a little bit.
He's got vengeance coming.
The Lord he's a man of war.
Yeah.
He's a man of war. That's what the scriptures say. He's a man of war.
Hold on, sister. Hold on. Just real quick. Isaiah 63 started to.
Okay.
We've been given this image of this dude that's soft and he got cotton candy and he's looking things. That's not
He come with
God. That's not His Son.
I know.
Just think about that. He sent the white people against us to do all these evil things to us.
And sometimes it's hard to swallow. But the Lord said He created everybody for a purpose. And everything for a purpose. Even the wicked for the day of vengeance. So we have to just understand. We can't question that. We don't understand the Lord's thoughts. But we have to believe what He wrote to us. We believe in this. We got to believe the whole thing. We can't pick and choose which parts to say, I feel bad for them. So I don't want to take that part of the Bible. And that's what church does. That's what religion does.
Right. Yeah, He coming back to destroy. There's nothing we can do about it. Because He's going to do what He said.
And what side
real quick.
Then you need to pick your side.
Right. Right, because if we start, all of us start, that's how we start repenting. By keeping the Sabbath, which is today. But go ahead, read that.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 63 and verse 2. Wherefore art thou red in thine apparel?
So the garment that he has on is red. So the prophet is asking him, why is your garment red? Go ahead.
And thy garments like him that treadeth in the wine fat.
So you stomp grapes, right? So when you stomp the grapes hard, it starts splattering all over the place. So he's saying his garment red from him,
Like He been
treading the wine. Go ahead.
Verse 3. I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people there was none with me. For I will tread them in mine anger.
This when he come back, he gonna tread the winepress in his anger. Go ahead.
And trample them in my fury. And their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments.
That's not that guy right there. Go ahead.
And I will stain all my raiment.
Oh, he gonna stain all his clothes. Go ahead.
For the day of vengeance is in my heart.
So he's waiting for that moment for his vengeance. When he come back, he gonna do all the stuff they did. They gotta pay for it. Now, That's Old Testament, right? But it's a prophecy still of what's to come. Revelation 19, real quick, I think it's maybe verse 14. Gonna say the same thing. When the Father sends the Son Christ, that's what he's gonna do. What we just read in Isaiah 63.
All right. What we at?
Thank you, 14.
14.
You have Facebook?
Yeah.
Or YouTube? Or YouTube?
Yep.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, you can look up Congregation of Saints, and we have different classes, or you can send messages, or you reach out to us if you ever have any questions in the future. We don't have any flyers right now, I feel bad for that. But if you Google, or Facebook or YouTube Congregation of Saints, that's the way you can follow us.
Yeah, we've got to bring flyers today.
The book of Revelation, chapter 19 and verse 13.
See, Revelation, that's what it's about there.
And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood.
Same thing we read in Isaiah in the Old Testament. Go ahead.
And his name is called the Word of God.
Word of God, that's right.
Verse 16. And he hath on his vesture and on his thigh a name written, King of Kings and Lord of Lords.
Right. Go ahead.
And I saw an angel standing in the sun.
Keep my commandments, that's what he said. Do what's right, or you'll be fighting for your life. Keep God's commandments, it's the whole duty of man. It's the whole duty of man. If you love me, keep my commandments. New mercies every day, that's what the scriptures say. But that doesn't mean continue to live this way. A righteous man falls down and gets back up again. But the wicked shall fall again and again. You know you got to keep God's commandments. Keep my commandments, that's what he said. Do what's right, or you'll be fighting for your life. God's commandments is the whole duty of man. It's the whole duty of man. New mercies fall upon us every day. That's what the scriptures say. But that doesn't mean that we can continue to live our lives this way. That's what he said. Ye are children tossed to and fro by winds of false doctrine. That's where you go. 5%ers, Islam, Kemet, Christianity, or Christian insanity. Come back to your God, Israel. For it has been made manifest to us what is pleasing to our Elohim. Keep my commandments, that's what he said. Do what's right, or you'll be fighting for your life. Keep God's commandments, it's the whole duty of man. It's the whole duty of man. I love y'all, Israel.